Hey everybody, as promised, here's my jelly making video. I have red seedless grapes. These are store-bought. I didn't get them off the vine or anything. Why did I pick red seedless grapes? Because they were on sale. So, first step is to fill, to pick them all, and then fill this the pot up with water, about an inch of water over the grapes. Had an escapee. Okay, then you boil it, and you let it boil for a couple of minutes, and then you mash the juice out. So I'll come back when we get to that point. While you're waiting for your grapes to boil, you can torment your kid by putting sunglasses on them and taking pictures. So after you bring your jelly to your grapes to a rolling boil, you reduce the heat and simmer for about 10 minutes. Now, during that time, I washed all my jars, and I'm boiling some water on the next burner to go ahead and sterilize them. Which, ideally, you probably should do all that before you start the cooking process, just to save some time and make sure it's all done. If you have a potato masher or even a juicer or food processor or something like that, this process is actually a lot easier. I don't, so I'm using a spoon. It'll all come out the same. It just makes the process a little bit easier. So after you've simmered it for about 10 minutes, then squish the grapes, get all the juice out of them, and then we're going to strain them. So let me get through with this process, and we'll start straining. Okay, I don't like chunky jelly, so I strain it a few times. The first step being, just a regular old colander. Now, when using red seedless grapes like I am, you're not going to get a whole lot of color that you would associate with jelly. I mean, the stuff you buy at the store has food coloring and all that other kind of crap in it. You will get a light color, but it's not going to be, the bright, deep purple that you would think, that you would associate with jelly. So, you want to get all the juices out of this stuff. And there's, I'm sure, better ways of doing this, but this is the way I'm doing it. So once you strain all your juices, I'll go back and put a cheesecloth over it, and I'll run it through that another 2 or 3 times just to make sure you've got all your chunkies out. You want it to be a good translucent color. You don't want it to be cloudy at all. So that's what you're looking for. So let me get through doing this, and then we'll go with the next step will be the cheesecloth. One more little trick: you take and you dump the grapes into your cheesecloth or whatever it is you're using. I'm actually using a clean burp rag because the pores on it are just about perfect. Just dump your grapes in that and just squeeze it out, and that way you get all the concentrated juice out of the rest of the grapes. Now it is hot, so watch yourself. Okay, I just take the cloth and run it down the sides of the bowl and tuck it underneath to give it some stability, and just pour real slowly. There's no reason to get into any hurry doing this. Pour it slow and let it trickle on through your filter, and you can do this however many times you want to. If you like chunks of the fruit in your jelly, you know, that's however you want to do it. I don't like any at all, so I make sure it's perfectly clear whenever I get finished. Let that filter on through, and then we'll fill her up again. Okay, when you're left with this pureed snot looking stuff, I'll take my filter, cheesecloth, whatever, and do the same thing as I did the first time. Try not to spill any of it back into your bowl, but you know, take it and squeeze, try and get the rest of that juice out of it. And then we'll do the whole process over again. Run it through the filter again. Like I said, I like nice clear jelly, so I filter it until it's clear. I don't mess with the chunks. Okay, this is the filtering number 2. Another little trick on if you have a rubber band big enough, just put a rubber band around the flange of the bowl. It'll help keep the cheesecloth or whatever filter you're using in place. And I did clean my filter after the first time. I just washed the chunks off of it, and that way I could kind of start fresh. So, I mean, as you can see, the more you filter it, the quicker it actually goes, because it gets fewer and fewer chunks in it to obstruct the filter. So there it goes, and I'll probably do this another. I'll see how it looks after this, but I'm at least going to do it one more. I may do it 2 or even 3 more times, depending on the clarity of the juice. After you get it fully strained, or strained to your liking, the recipe calls for 5 cups of juice. So this is 4. And and 5. And The recipe's very exact. It tells you specifically, do not go over, do not go under, use exactly what it says. After that, you add your package of pectin. One whole package. And you're supposed to bring it to a boil. So we'll boil that, and I'll get back with you in just a minute. I almost forgot one of Grandma's secrets. About a tablespoon of butter and a little splash of lemon juice, and that helps with the foaming process. Keeps it from foaming so bad. Okay, you're supposed to stir this constantly as it's heating up, and you want to bring it to what they call a full rolling boil, which is defined as a boil that continues to boil even while it's stirred. So while I was waiting for this to heat up, I went ahead and got my sugar together, and for grape jelly it calls for 7 cups of sugar. So it's going to be pretty sweet. A diabetic's worst nightmare, I guess. But anyway, once this boils, we add the sugar to it quickly, and stir it all together. And after we add the sugar, we're supposed to boil it for one solid minute. So I'll come back when we do that. Okay, I'm not sure if the camera's going to pick all this up or not, but let's see if we can get a good angle here. This is a full rolling boil. I'm still stirring it, and it's still boiling. And when we get to this point, add the sugar, and it says to add the sugar quickly. And then bring it back to a boil. And again, stirring constantly. And when this boils, when it reaches a rolling boil, you want to boil it for 1 minute, but watch it because it will boil over. So if it starts to boil over, just try to stay in front of the heat. Keep reducing the heat to keep it from boiling over. But all these measurements and this time is very precise. Anything deviating any way will make it not set appropriately. You'll either get it brick hard, or you'll get it runny like syrup. So stick to the recipe, and it should work out just fine. So I'm going to continue to stir this until it reaches its rolling boil, and then I'm going to set the timer for 1 minute. Once that happens, have your jars ready, and get ready to ladle it into the jars. And that'll be the end of it. So come back when we get to that point. Okay, so here we are at our full rolling boil, and the timer's started. And remember, just stay in front of your heat to keep it from boiling over. And you know, start a little bit faster, and it'll help reduce some of the foam and the bubbles. You got about 30 seconds left on the rolling boil here. You'll hear the timer go off when it's ready. And then from there, there's the timer. You just scoop out the foam, discard it, and ladle it into the jars. On these half-pint jars, the quick headspace checker is this little bottom flange right here. That's how high you want it. And put the lids on and let it set. So let me get it in the jars and I'll show you what it looks like from there. Alright, so you just, this is the easy part here. It's just about 2 ladlefuls. Puts it where it needs to be. Alright, I'm going to fill these up and then get back to you in just a second. Okay folks, here it is. Excuse the messy countertop, but towards the end of this process, everything's got to move quick. You know, you've got to get it in the jars, you've got to get the tops cleaned up, and you've got to get the lids and the rings on the jars. You got to do it all very quickly to make sure it seals and to make sure you know, you get it all in the jars before it starts to set. So I ended up with 12 jars. And it's still really hot, so I'm going to use a towel. But you can see it's not, I just finished, so it's not even close to being set. And this last jar, the 12th jar, didn't have enough. So this will be the one we eat first, obviously. When everything cools, it'll go into the refrigerator, and it'll be put on sandwiches come tomorrow. Or maybe even this afternoon. So that's it. Pretty simple, actually. And then this type of jelly beats what you can get at the grocery store, hands down, any day. So I hope this helps somebody. I hope it gives you the courage to try it, because I'll be honest, I was scared to death the first time I did. That's the last thing I wanted to do, was waste a bunch of food and jars and lids and everything else. But really, there's nothing to it. So if you have any questions, I'll be glad to help however I can. There's a ton of videos about canning and everything else on YouTube, so check them out, and good luck to you. Once you learn how to do it, it really is a lot of fun. So thanks for watching, and again, I hope it helped somebody. I'll talk to y'all later.